when someone says something you do not like, you're supposed to go back to the person and let them understand that
Yeah.
I don't know whether you meant to, I don't know whether you realized I was not happy with what you said at this point in time. And the other person, the other party, understand that when concerns like that are raised, they need to acknowledge it and work on it. And the other person is like, oh,
Mm-hmm.
I'm really sorry about that. I didn't mean to make you feel that way. I didn't mean to upset you in any way. Just how I perceived it is different from how you perceived it. And communication happens there, and both of you sort out that matter right there, and then that's all. And
Yeah.
about 80 to 90% of cases, you can sort it out by talking to the person involved, and then everything is sorted out. If it's not sorted out, you
Mm-hmm.
know you can
Yeah.
escalate to the next senior person who will try and find a way around it. So it's just how things are set up here is a bit different from how it is back home.
Honestly, I think you're very right. The emphasis on the respect, they are so, it's like a mantra. You just have to respect each other,
Yes.
no matter how small they are. I mean, as nurses, I've got to respect the domestics. I've got to respect the healthcare
Exactly, exactly,
assistants. You
exactly. You
know,
will not see the domestics
yeah.
and you say that. I mean,
Mm-hmm.
some of the domestics have been working there for a long time. Some of them have probably worked in other professions. It's here that you find. I mean, my first job in the UK was in a COVID testing site. I was an assistant testing supervisor at the time, and one of my colleagues worked as a dentist for about 40 years and is coming
Mm.
to work as an ETS supervisor. So you people you meet there.
Wow.
There are people that some of them have been MDs. I mean, there was one of the
Mm.
people I worked with. He's been an MD, one of the trusts, and he only came because he said he had retired and he's bored and he wants to find something to do.
Wow.
So you just can't look down on anybody and say, oh, there's some of these people that are working as CSWs, as clinical support
Mm.
workers, people who have been nurses, and they just thought, oh, I've worked as a nurse for so number of years. Let me just step down the role a notch
Mm.
lower and take on take on lesser responsibilities. So you can't just
Yeah.
disrespect people because you feel your work is better than theirs, and no work
Mm.
is better than
Better
any
than
any
the
other.
other.
I mean,
Yeah.
without the domestics, we would not have a place that is free of debt and germs. We will not have a place
Yeah.
that upholds infection and
Mm.
prevention control standards. We now have a site where all the equipment and tools and facilities we need are debt free. They are free from germs, from microorganisms. So
Yeah.
each work is different. I mean, even the potters, the engineers that come onto the ward,
Yeah.
their work is also important. I mean, you order X-ray for a patient or you order CT for a patient. You're not going to be the one to take the patient to the CT or to the X-ray.
Mm-hmm.
Their work is
Yeah.
important. Also,
Yeah.
the ambulance, the paramedics. I mean,
Yeah.
it's all entwined in
We
each other,
need
and
each other.
yes,
Yeah.
you have to respect everybody, no matter how different the work is, from the
Mm.
sales receptionist to what
Yeah.
clerks to CSWs to clinical support workers. Everybody's work is important. The fact that you're a doctor does not mean that your work is the most important. In fact,
Mm.
your work is probably the least interactive because you just come, you write something up and you go, and they are the ones that are in contact with the patient. They are the ones that know what the patient needs most. They are the ones that are on the ward. They are the ones that see what happens. And they are the ones that they've had that probably have that experience more than you do. And there are
Yeah.
times when even support workers are the ones that point out some things to you, and then you realize that, oh, this is actually relevant to the management of this
Mm-hmm.
patient. Not
Definitely.
one
Yeah.
one one work or one
Yeah.
profession is not bigger than the other.
Yeah. And honestly, I think if there's another thing I learned here in the UK is how to express your concerns without raising your voice. From Nigeria, I mean, the voice will definitely, it will go up. But here, I will now practice how to like express without without even like,
because once you raise your voice,
yeah,
it's seen as an act of violence already. Once you raise your voice,
honestly,
so you
yeah.
raising your
So
voice, the other person feels threatened already.
yeah,
And even if they are the one that is
yeah.
right, by doing that, you're already in the
You
wrong.
automatically become the
Yes,
definitely, definitely.
yeah.
Right. Yeah. So thank you so much for that. I mean, let's go to some of the juicy part. So, I mean, did you ever think you would marry a nurse?
I'm not. Well, I don't think I would have married a nurse. But that being said, I also realized that I mean 80% of the time you're in the hospital, you're going to be in contact with nurses. And there will be there'll be a kind of interaction you have with them that you don't have with other people elsewhere. So you get to know them better. That being said, I didn't think I was going to marry uh that early, and I didn't think I was going to marry a nurse either.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
just the way things work, just
It
the way
happened.
God works. Yeah, I mean, yes. I mean, like I wanted to be a nurse, I ended up being a doctor. You wanted to be a doctor, you
Yeah.
ended up being a nurse. I mean,
Yeah.
the 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 path that destiny uh, have
Mm,
us take is very different from what we used to think. It's different from what we think would be. So life has a way of ushering us into the path that is meant for us.
yeah.
Yeah. So I didn't think that. I don't think I was going to marry a nurse. I not that I had a particular potential in mind. So based on to be like,
Yeah.
oh, this is my spec, this kind of person. I want to marry a pilot, so I want to marry this, that. I didn't have one in mind, but then at the same time, I didn't seriously consider it as possibility of marrying a nurse. Then.
Yeah. Right. Okay. So, in the past, I've had doctors who married nurses, and I remember someone saying, "Oh, we don't talk about our profession at home; it's a rule." And then some other people, I actually met a nurse who had a very bitter experience with husband, who is a medical doctor, then during the strike of, Joesu and all of those things. And she was in the midst of the doctor, I mean, her husband and the friends. And, they were just yabbing her profession, like that, just citing examples of things that has happened with a doctor nurse relationship or doctor nurse marriage. So, what has it been like for you marrying a nurse? Do you talk about your profession? And so yeah, let it be like a two-in-one question. So and I would say, do you have contradicting opinions, especially as to care of a relative or something, like maybe if a relative is sick and your wife is saying, let's use this medication or something, and you are saying, oh, I don't know, I'm just giving an example, but how has it been like profession wise with the both of you?
Um, it's been quite a sweet experience because we talk about how our day went and things that happened in the day, things that upset us, things that went well. Um, we don't really argue or get into any kind of conflicts about our work. We There are usually more of discussion, really, more of discussion. Oh, this patient came in and had this and had that and had that, and I'm like, that's interesting. So what happened? Um, and for example, there was a patient who had an upper GI bleed because my wife is an ICU nurse, and there was a patient that had an upper GI bleed and was had to go into ICU because it was quite a catastrophic bleed. And my wife talked about mentioned um a tube. It's called an I think an SKS tube. It's a very funny name. I myself can't even pronounce it. Now I know what that tube was, but I didn't realize that the tube was called that name. And she talked about it. I was like, what's that? She said the tube had three balloon parts. One goes into the esophagus, and one seat just at the junction, the other seat at between the pharynx and the esophagus. And she was describing. I was like, wait, hold on, what are you talking about? I don't understand. And she kept saying, is a Sasquatch tube. I'm like, what's a Sasquatch tube? And she's like, do you not know what that is? I said, you don't know what that is. And so she opened Google and she showed me the tube. I was like, oh, that's the tube. It's one of those kind of conversations we have about our
Yeah.
work, about things that have happened. Um, if one person has been upset about work, comes back home, talks about it, can make each other feel better. I mean, if my wife calls me and says she's had a bad day at work, and I'm like, do you think you can still work? Do you want to come back home? And she says she wants to come back home. Come back home and forget about work. That's what we how we handle things. Um,
Mm.
there are times when we would have different opinions. Or this is what I think it should be, and the other person says, no, that's what I think it should be. I don't think that it has never degenerated into
Yeah.
an argument or a quarrel or a fight or anything like that. Because I mean, why would you let it get to that stage?
Mm.
When it comes to relatives, because our work is a bit different. I mean, one person does more of caring for the patient, and the other person does more of, diagnosing and prescribing. So the work is a
Yeah.
bit different. For example, if she thinks that possibly someone has maybe a relative or someone has a wound, and she thinks, oh, this kind of dressing should be better suited for the wound. She knows more better about that than I do. And even if I think it should be different, I would understand that it's probably something that she's done tons of times, so she knows what more
Mhm.
about. There's a medication that the person should have. Let's say a relative or someone should have, and she mentions it, and I say, oh, I don't think that medication should be that. I think it should be this medication. She would understand that that's more of what I do,
Yeah.
and she would understand, and she would, just agree with me, and
Mhm.
that would sort that out. It never gets into an
Yeah.
argument with one another. I mean, even when we are with friends, I mean, we banter each other. We banter each other. We talk about nurses raping doctors
Yeah. Yeah.
for weirdest things, and then they also talk about doctors that are nonchalant and they are this and that. And we all have a laugh about it, really. But
Yeah.
because we understand that it's our work. It's a bit
Yeah.
different and similar at the same time. So, but we don't let that get negative emotions out of us.
Yeah, yeah, that's correct. So I think it's more about understanding our roles, and knowing our area of expertise and staying there. Yeah, that's very good. That's very good. So yeah, I remember coming over to visit you, and I met like a community of nurses all around you. And I think you are the only medical doctor amongst your friends, isn't it?
Yes, I am.
Interesting. And we are talking about a group of like 8, 9, 10 people, right?
Yes.
Does it not feel awkward? Like, do you feel like an odd one out? Like, at some point, do you?
Sometimes it just feel like being a mango in a basket of apples. You know, um,
Yeah.
when they talk about more of things that are related to us, and I try and bang the table, I'm like, order, you guys should come back, come back, come back, come back. Don't leave me out. It's not felt bad in any way. It's
Yeah.
been it's been a gratifying experience. It's been fantastic. We talk. I mean, anytime we're together, we always talk about our work. One
Yeah.
person throws bands at the other person, or you people are doing this, you people are doing that. It's funny. It's funny, but we don't. I don't see it as something bad. Now that being said, I wish it was equally split, like say 5 doctors and 5 nurses in a group of 10. I mean, so that when they are throwing bands at me, I have like 4 other people to
You
back
have
me up.
supporters.
I'm going back
Oh
at
my.
them. But I just think it's quite gratifying.
Yeah.
It's been eye opening as well because
Yeah.
when you have people like that around you, you appreciate more of the work that they do, how difficult the work
Mhm.
is, um, and how it's also different from what you do as well. When they are talking and relate that with something that happened at work, for example,
Mm.
you are able to understand why that nurse on that day at work did what they did or said what they did, said what they said. So it brings a perspective for you,
Mm.
and it helps you to understand better. So I think for me, it's like I'm a parasite leeching off them, getting off their own experiences. And some of them are male nurses, and in fact, I must say this.
Yeah.
And I think I've said it before. I've worked in about 6 or 7 different trusts here,
Mm.
and I will tell you, male nurses are the best. They are the absolute best.
Oh, really?
They are the absolute best. I mean, all the male nurses I've worked with, they've been great. They've been
Mm, wow.
wonderful.
Wow.
So I think about 3 out of our group are male nurses, and
Yeah. I know Ogbeni Oluwatosin is also part of is also part of you
yes,
guys.
yes, yes. I
Yeah.
mean, it is.
Yeah.
I've not worked with him. I've not worked
All
with him
right.
directly. I've worked with the two
Mm.
others directly, but
Yeah, I mean, I remember when I was with you, and one of the nurses was saying, "Oh, I was so busy in my ward. Michael came over, helped to do some observations. Like, oh wow, so Michael is a good person. Even I didn't know you're a good person, but really, it
so
was really interesting.
yeah,
Honestly,
yeah,
I
yeah.
was proud of
Well,
you.
I think I remember that day. I remember that day. So it's funny because it was on night, and I was less busy, so I came to gist with my friend, and he was having a busy day, so I helped him with some cancellations and
Oh,
some other
wow.
things. So the following morning, when I came back, so
Yeah.
the patient swapped us for each other, and
Oh,
thought I was him and thought it was me, and could not tell us
wow.
apart. So he was asking, okay, so are you the nurse? And I was like, no. So are you the doctor? I said yes. And then the following night, when my friend came back, he was more confused. He was like, "You guys look so similar, and
Oh,
you
wow.
guys, and you guys are doing almost the same thing." I'm like, "Okay, that's just what we do. That's our role. We don't
Yeah.
discriminate. We don't say
We
this
help
person
each
is
other.
this person is that." And it's nice because some people like they feel it's important to separate their personal life from their
Mm,
professional life, which in a way I think they might have a reason to do that. The fact that you are friends with a person does not mean that when you're at work you can't be
mm,
you can't be at your best at work. In fact, the
yeah,
fact that you're friends with the person makes it even easier to work with the person because you
yeah.
know that person, you know what that person would want, what that person would like, how that person is, and
Mm,
you find it easier to work with that person compared with if you are someone you never worked with in the past.
yeah,
I think you guys can,
yeah.
you can support each
Mm.
other, you can help each other with jobs and things like that.
Wow, wow. Yeah, that's lovely. That's interesting. I mean, it was an exciting experience coming to see you guys. I mean, you guys are so closely knitted, and I love that. I love that.
Thank you. Thank
Right.
you very
So,
much.
yeah. So, I'm just gonna ask this question: if you have a child that says, "Oh, I want to study nursing, I want to go into the nursing profession," what would your opinion be?
I would tell the child the same thing my mother told me. I mean, whether it's nursing or not, I would tell my child the same thing my mother told me. The work we do is so important. It's very
Mm,
relevant, but of course it has its own risks as well. It has its own downside as well. Um,
yeah.
for you to enjoy the work you do, especially nursing, you need to be in tune with the work in a way. And when if my child should come to me, I would tell them that's a good choice. Keep your options open. I mean, even if you want to be a nurse,
Yeah.
you don't have to be a bedside nurse. I mean, there are
Yeah.
so many different pathways in nursing you can take. You have specialties in
Mm,
nursing you can take.
yeah.
You can be an oncology nurse, you can be a respiratory nurse, you can be a palliative medicine nurse, you can be so much. They have diabetes specialist nurses, they have trauma nurses, you have teaching viability nurses, you have several
Hmm.
specialties in
Yeah.
nursing
And
that
the
you can
UK,
take.
you've got several options. Yeah.
Yes, you have several
Mm,
options. So even if you are more academic inclined and you want to do nursing, you can
mm,
the child can go into academic nursing, can be a
mm,
teacher, a lecturer, or can be um exam coordination, things like that. So I mean, there's
yeah.
I'm sure there will always be a niche for everyone in the field.
Wow. Yeah. All right. That's lovely. I think we are about to come to the end of this session, which has been very, very interesting. I mean, I even learned a lot of things that I didn't know about you before. I've been friends for like 12 years now. Yeah. Right.
Yeah.
Okay. So, do you have any last word of advice to everyone, especially those practicing in Nigeria right now? Any last words for them?
What I would say is this. For people who have picked the mantle of nursing, it's a responsibility, it's a duty, one that has to be taken seriously, one that shouldn't be handled with levity. Um, there's so much that you can achieve with nursing. I mean, years ago, people used to think nursing is just females, but now we have more males going for nursing. We used to think nursing is inferior to medicine, for instance, but now we understand that
Yeah.
they are equally matched. So, I mean, if you are practicing nursing, especially back home, don't let anybody make you feel little of yourself. Put in the work, whatever it is you want to do, wherever it is you want to go, you can go there, you can do whatever you want to do, you can be whatever you want to be. Um, it's just unlike other professions, it requires a lot of hard work. You need to put in a lot of hard work. You need to be really responsible with your time, with your work, trying to manage how you balance your work life, and trying to find out which pathway, which field is best for you. If you are in nursing, you hit the jackpot. Let me just tell you that you hit the jackpot. All you have to do is you just follow your dream, just put in the work,
Yeah.
and surely get there.
Honestly, like when you said the last one you said now, do you know what came to my mind? I mean,
So
we are old cake now. Doctors want to marry nurses now, especially for jackpot
I'm telling
class.
you, everybody's looking first date
Yeah.
question. First date question. Are you a nurse? Yes or no? If it
Oh
is
man.
no, then bye bye. If it is yes,
Yeah.
okay, fine. Then we can go into second date. Yes, because yeah, you guys are hot people. You guys are hot. You're hot in the US, in the UK, in Canada, in
Hmm.
Australia, in New Zealand,
Yeah.
everywhere across the world. So you guys are very hot.
And
You're
then
very hot.
the second date question is something like, so do you have plans to travel out? I mean, even that's the second
Are you
question.
jackpotting
So
or not?
are you Japan? Well, yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
There's a mutual friend that we know of, and he was just saying that I wish I had gone to study nursing. No, so even doctors are like, but yeah. I mean, I'm proud of my profession.
Yes.
But yeah,
You
yeah,
have to be
yeah.
proud of, you
It's
have
really
to
nice.
hold it proudly with pride.
Yeah. Wow. Thank you so much. It's been a very lovely time with you.
Thank you
And
for having me.
yeah, we are proud to have people like you who love our profession and I love to associate with it as well. Yeah, so I really appreciate you for honoring our invitation, and well, we hope to see you later, and hopefully maybe we can also bring your wife at some point.
That's
Yeah,
fine. That's
so
all right. I'm sure she'll be happy to come
yeah.
on and share our experiences as well.
Definitely, yeah. Right. So thank you viewers. Thank you for watching. Please like, subscribe and share the video, and we hope to bring you much more entertaining content in the future. So stay tuned on this podcast. See you. Thank you. Bye.